Yo, what's going on? Just had to do a quick video for you. This is only gonna be like a couple of minutes because I just want to speak to you about fractions, and I'll put up a video more detailed on fractions. But this is just what I want to say about that is when it comes to fractions, and I know, like, when it comes to trying to understand fractions, and really I'm sharing this more for educators than anything, is don't shy away from teaching fractions. And this is the reason why I say that. Because I know that whenever we give a lesson, we try to go more into decimals and we kind of skip over fractions. That's for the simple fact it's a little bit difficult to understand. But what I want to mention to you is, well, really, if you're doing decimals, you really can't do it without fractions. So, excuse me. So, if you're doing decimals, you really have to know what the fraction is, right? And usually when it comes from the decimals, that translates into percentages. So my thing is, if you know the decimal, then you know the fraction. If you know the fraction, you know the percentage. If you know the percentage, then you know the decimal, you know the decimal, you know the fraction, so on and so forth, like that. So you really can't eliminate one to get to the other. So that would be my advice, is don't shy away from fractions. Some good ideas I've seen is, like, I've seen other educators, other teachers using Legos, which is very good. And also you can use food. You could use, because I know surveys are a good way to do it. So sometimes you hear like 4 out of 5. So it's like, okay, so you look at it like 4/5 or 80% or 0.8, however you want to look at it. So, don't shy away from showing fractions. Get clever with showing fractions. It can be fun, because my thing is, and I've always asked students like this, or this way, if we didn't have fractions, then what would we have? What would exist? Because here's the thing, just a few things. If fractions didn't exist, naturally we wouldn't have decimals. If we don't have decimals, we don't have percentages. Which means if we don't have decimals or percentages, that means we don't have money, right? We don't have money. We don't have, we don't have money. We don't have a bartering system. We don't have tires. We don't have cars. Even to the point where we don't even have music. Yes, we don't have music without fractions. Think about it. Quarter notes, half notes. There you go. So my thing is this: if you don't have fractions, how do you necessarily count? How can you count in between whole numbers? I mean, where does the measurement goes? And if, like, for my culinary students, if a recipe asks for, like, let's say a half teaspoon of salt, right, or half teaspoon of sugar, how can you measure a half if you don't know what a half is, right? So just letting you know, I'm gonna wrap this up because I know I don't want to go too long. But again, if you are teaching decimals and percentages, do not shy away from teaching fractions. Fractions have to go with that. You can't do one without the other. All right. I know some people, would, argue against that. I get it. You can do one. I mean, some would say, yeah, you can. I'm saying personally, and from my belief, you can't. My thing is, if I'm going to know what the decimal is, I have to know what the fraction is. And then from the fraction, I can know what the percentage is. And even for the percentage, I would know what the fraction is, But answer this question, and then you think about it more this way. You know what 1/3 is as a decimal, right? Which is your 0.33, whatever. Does your 0.3 go back to 1/3? Think about it. I'm going to leave you with that. All right? Thanks again, Professor Fred Ratliff. Just go to my subscription down below. Any comments, please comment, good or bad. Like I said, that's how I learn. All right? So, till next time, practice, 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 study, study, study. Next time. All right? Be good.